And we are live. Sunday. I was supposed to be in the woods today. I did a little bit of truck camping last night. Was up at one end of the province, and then the plan was to go across and stay at another campsite. I had to pass home, so I stopped, checked the updated weather forecast, and they were just announcing too much rain. I got rained out yesterday, and I was like, nah, don't feel like it, because the whole point of going way across the other province, the other end of the province, was that they were supposed to not get as much rain. And anyway, that is just crazy. So I'm here. I'm drying out the tent because we got about 8 or 9 millimeters of rain yesterday up towards the northern end of the province. So I'm just drying everything out here. So I figured just do a little channel update. I was supposed to shoot some video today, but once I got home and took a look at the forecast, it's like, well, I haven't done an update in a while, so just wanted to give you guys a little update, let you know what's going on. So we'll break this video out into a couple of components. First, I'll just announce, well, some of the news, right? There's a lot of Garmin stuff that's been coming out after, in a while. And, there we go. And over here, over here. There you go. All right, so a couple things happened. As you know, I've been on the road a lot for work, so I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of stuff. But basically some Garmin news. First thing, Garmin, if you go back a few months, Garmin unveiled the MARQ series. This is the expensive Phoenix, $1,500 to $3,000 for this watch. A lot of software issues has been kind of the norm for Garmin when they release new hardware. I wouldn't hold on to it. Even the Phoenix 5s are pretty expensive now, so I don't know. They also announced some new colors for the Garmin Instinct. They got Seafoam, Lakeside Blue, and Sunburst, which looks like kind of nice colors, better than those initial three, which definitely was geared towards the military and first responder market. Now these are a little bit more, these are colors I wouldn't mind getting. The blue, I think the Lakeside Blue was kind of nice. Also, there's a brand new Forerunner series. They kind of slid that in there. That ranges from $199 to $599. You got the Forerunner 45, 45S, which is just a smaller case, kind of like what the Apple Watch was doing. You have a 39 millimeter, then you got like a 42. Same thing for this one. You get the Forerunner 245 and 245 Music. That to me is pretty much your all-purpose runner watch. Has everything you need in there. For beginners who just want to track, step counter, do some walking, the 45 is a good one. And then if you're like serious triathlete, the 945 just got released here. So updated Forerunners is actually good that they're reducing those amount of running specific watches, because a few years ago I think I complained about it. They were just launching way too many options. We've seen now the new strategy from Garmin regarding the inreach, and they've been pushing out their integrated inreach products. One of them here is called the Overlander, obviously catering to the overland people, truck camping, the van life. Well, not van life, but the van people, to go out off-road, that kind of stuff. So basically it looks like one of those automotive Nuvi style GPSs, but they made it, desert brown, and kind of did some sharp edges to give it more of that overland off-road look, and also integrates inReach. So that might be a good option. I would expect to see some RAM mounts, or probably a rugged version of that, so you can mount on your ATV, boat, that kind of stuff. So that runs $699, and again, that kind of links in with the Explore app, which is the old DeLorme inReach platform that they're rebranding and moving towards Explore and doing that kind of stuff. So $699, that wouldn't be too bad actually. They also did some updates on some handhelds, and they updated the GPSMAP 64, which kind of a surprise because they had just released the 66. And so they're launching the 64X, the SX, which is for the sensors. If you think about how they kind of marketed those units, 64X is kind of like bare bones, no topo maps, no sensors or a compass, that kind of stuff. The SX would be the sensors, maps, and then you got the CSX, which includes an integrated camera. Don't know why, but you have the camera. You also have the eTrex that are up to the eTrex 22X and the 32X. Big things, just incremental upgrades, 8 gig of internal memory. I think they have a new format for SD card slot. But other than that, everything looks identical. So for those who've been kind of waiting, getting the 66 or waiting for the 64, you know, these are priced a little bit better. They start from $299, $349, and $449. Way better than the $599 or $699 that I paid for the 66 ST. And you're used to the same form factor. I assume all your mounts and cases will still be compatible if you've had the previous generation for the last couple of years. And the eTrex, the 22 and the 32, which I think there will be some pretty big sellers, they start at $199 and $299. So I expect the eTrex 22X to be a really popular model for people who just want to do, just want that nice form factor, easy geocaching stuff. So that's what I think. And finally, we have the Garmin flagship GPSMAP 66i, which is the 66 ST with inreach. And that is $599. And well, I'm kind of torn a little bit on that because it's $599 in Canada here. I think I saw it for $850. I think that is getting pricing that GPS a little bit out, especially since I have not been fully satisfied with the 66 ST so far. I know I've been trying it out recently. There was a little firm grade upgrade, a lot of bugs. It seems a little bit better now. I've been using it for a few activities, but for that price, for what you're not really getting that much of an upgrade technology-wise. But if you are looking for an inReach, that means that the old DeLorme generation that was out just previously, you can probably get that at a nice steep discount. They're both still using the Explore portal, and you can use the Explore app on those older inReaches. So, you know, you're not losing out on anything. Just so if you're a little bit more budget conscious, I would look for that. And if you're just curious, what's behind me is my Kodiak canvas truck tent drying out last night. Did a nice overnight. Slept good, but I just got to dry out stuff I had set up in the rain. So the truck bed was wet. Set up the tent in the rain. Did kind of fast. And the key with these truck tents is that you got to line it right. And for some reason, it was misaligned and had a little bit of trouble setting it up. But once it was in there, it was all right. I was able to put a little heater in there to kind of dry things out. So I went in there like maybe 8 or 9 hours later to go to bed, and it was good. It was good. But I didn't feel like tearing down a wet tent and then driving out and then just setting up in rain again. Didn't want to do that. Since I was passing through the house, I was like, eh. Anyway, let's talk about Q&A. Some questions that was posted on the channel last little while. I thought these were some really good questions. One of them is, can you do group messaging with the inReach? So with inReach, you can specify recipients: email, text, map share, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. You can send a message and send it out to multiple recipients. However, it's not a group chat. So whoever's going to reply, that will be individual replies, so you can't do that. But you can set up your preset messages to blast out to a few people. What I normally would do is, before I go out for a few days in the woods at the cabin or stuff like that, I would just send an initial message to everybody and say, if there's anything, reply to this message thread. If it happens to be home, the boss, or somebody else, that's what I end up doing. How can you view the track on an inReach before it syncs? So on the Explorer Plus, you have two types of logs. You have the interval log that gets sent up to the satellites that tracks your position, 10-minute intervals by default. And then you have the extended log, which is your typical breadcrumb log. And that's why that old Explorer inReach interface wasn't that great. But if you look in the map, you'd see the breadcrumbs. You can also see that in the history. And then once you sync with your phone, when you reach connection, that track gets uploaded to the portal afterwards. But you really can't do much with it. That's one of the downsides with those older Explorer Plus, is that you didn't really have a good track manager. It just became part of your history. Then you would have to extract it once you got home at the portal and then play around with it in your app of choice. Should I buy a 66i? And that was a question the individual was going to do some elk hunting in Idaho, I believe, this fall, and wondering if you can get it or not. You know what? Now that they announced the updated 64 models and the price is a little bit better, I would maybe look at that, or look at those. Hopefully, you could find some of those discounted Explorer Plus models. I don't think the software, especially with my experience with I've been experiencing with the ST, I wouldn't be thrilled if I paid that much money on that 66i, and it would be kind of buggy. Say what you want with the older DeLorme stuff. Their stuff was pretty solid in terms of software, so I never really ran into some issues using the unit. Of course, sometimes there was a little bit of communication bugs, but messages were always sent, and yeah, so I would maybe hold off on that. I would probably look at other stuff. Have all the related question, have all the issues with the MAP 66 been involved with the latest firmware? I would say maybe some of them are. I didn't test all the features that I found was kind of sluggish. Some of the other features that required, some of the radios, the Wi-Fi, weather, that kind of stuff, I felt was kind of sluggish still. I had one time I did a walkabout, and it had shut down on me, random shutdown, but I have been using it for a couple of activities now. I've been doing a little bit more mountain biking, and it's been acting normal. It's been syncing good. So I think maybe it has resolved some of them yet. So the biggest issue I'm finding with the 66ST is that it chews up batteries. Yes, you buy, because I'm used to using these models, I just grab some Duracells or Energizers, and I can expect, 16, 18 hours of use. I don't really use, you just turn it on and you use it. I'm finding for this one here, it chews up batteries, even if you tell it what type of battery you have installed. So maybe I just got a bad batteries, but I'm just not been overly impressed with the battery life on the 66ST. And then the last question here is, can I have the same data fields on the Garmin Instinct as I do on the Sunto Vector? So this was somebody who was looking at an upgrade, and could you customize the data fields? And that's a field that not a lot of people, when they get their watches, they don't, either they're not aware or they don't know how you can customize these profiles when you do different activities, that you can customize it to show the feels that you want. And one of the good things about the Garmin stuff is that they have a ridiculous amount of data fields to choose from by default. And if you have a compatible watch, I don't think the Instinct you can connect to the IQ store, but there's people who are making their own custom data fields, and you can download that. I haven't experimented too much about that. I found that the out-of-the-box data fields works fine. And yes, the two fields that the person was looking, which was vertical height, and there was another thing, because he's doing a lot more mountain climbing. Yes, those were able to capture the fields. I would say by now, if you're using another watch, if you have a specific data field, it might be called something a little bit different, but I would say you're pretty sure to finding it there on let's say on the Instinct medium up units. So like I mentioned earlier, I was doing some truck camping or truck camping plans. Yesterday was really the first time I was able to get out and do some truck camping overnight. The plan was to do 2 days. Like I said, set up in the rain yesterday, slept all right, had to drive 3.5 hours to the other campsite. Passing through home, I stopped, did a little update weather, and the rain changed significantly, and I didn't feel like setting up a wet tent again in the rain. And it's a little cool out here on the shore, so I chickened out. However, there was a couple things I wanted to try, and I was able to evaluate a few things. So one of the things I wanted to do was to reduce, and I think I'll cover it in a different video, maybe tomorrow. It is a long weekend after all. Basically, I wanted to reduce my footprint. All right, there's a few things in the truck camping kit that when I sleep inside, I don't need that much stuff. And of the stuff that I have, there are smaller footprint items that when you pack up, they take less room, and that interests me a little bit. So one of the things that I wanted to do is get a new camp chair. So I got one of those aluminum things that kind of folds down, pretty small. Not a Helionox, but I got one of those Amazon ones. Give that a try. Wanted to try it later on, but that seems to be working. The air mattress. I had one of these, they call them whisper lights or whisper airs. It's one of the ones that has the tube that you blow in and it's supposed to multiply the air. You only need like 5 breaths to inflate this mattress. But anyway, the big thing that's really interesting, it fits in this bag, right? Not a big bag, Nalgene bottle size. So I used that exclusively this time. Last season I had was splitting between that and my Thermarest Basecamp XL, and I used it this weekend, and I'm gonna switch back to the Thermarest. Even though I do like having the smaller footprint, the Thermarest Basecamp, a little bit better in terms of heat retention insulation. This one here, I don't think it's quite too, felt a little chilly this morning, wasn't a big problem, but you know, if it was a little bit colder, probably would have been for me or bothered me a little bit. And also very narrow. I think this is 20 inches wide or 22 inches wide. My base camp is 27 inches wide. So if you're sleeping rolling over, you're not rolling off of it. At least you got a little bit of mattress that you can do. So I'm not saving much room when I'm switching back. And that was the whole point of when I was stopping by, was to pick up the Thermarest, picking up the sleeping bag because I had just brought a wool blanket. And that's why I was preparing, but I chickened out. The other thing too, I bought a little shade shelter at Bass Pro. Whoa, Bass Pro today. Oh my Lord. What's going on? Oh my Lord. Here we go. Oh, technology. This thing does this once in a while. I'm using this gimbal thingy. Anyway, bought one of these shade shelters from Bass Pro. So basically, it's just enough that it gives you shade for 2 camping chairs and a cooler. I didn't get a chance to deploy that, but that pack's nice and small. I think it'd be kind of cool. Upgraded my cooler. Using that right now. This was a good chance to evaluate it, packing it with some ice and some food to see it. And really one of the things I really want to do is reorganize my chuck box, which is the box that I have all my kitchen and eating and cleaning stuff. Don't like what I have right now, which is just a bin with everything all loose, but yeah, anyway. That's about it, folks. Tents driving in the back, all alone. Hence why I was out camping or trying to do some overnights in the truck tent. All the girls were away, seeing in-laws and stuff. So anyway, just wanted to do a quick little update. Things other than that, things are busy work-wise. Sad news if you're holding on to the end. I had to, if you check the community posts, I kind of hinted that I had to put down my hiking buddy, my dog, a month ago. Yeah, maybe a month ago, not quite a month ago. So I had to put him down, unfortunately. So he would have been 10 this week, and just a little bit shy. So I'll miss my little buddy. Not into hiking much for a while because he was the guy that came with me on a lot of hikes. So I decided to start doing a little bit more of mountain biking. So I got a fat bike, and I've been going out basically last couple weeks, and having some fun with that. I'll probably show you the rig once I'm out, and yeah, that's about it. You guys got any comments, questions? What's going on? We'll talk to you guys next time. All right, here we go. Turn this thing off.